Well, you don't get a chance to go home very often. And even though my wife and I are from Nebraska, we're from Iowa, our relatives, our families, every member of our families is sitting across the border in Iowa. We're about 2.5 hours away from them. So to get to do this at this level in this league and come home to do it was a unique opportunity. I hadn't been in Washington very long, and it was sometimes you don't really control the timing, but when things happen, I sought a couple folks out for advice that I consider my mentors, and they said, don't be crazy, you take the job, you go be around your family. And so thrilled, even though it's been a short time, thrilled to be in Lincoln.
Short time, but a busy time, a time of transition unlike any we've ever seen. What has this time and this period been like for you as you get ready to lead a department into something of uncharted territory?
Well, I think I had a little bit of an advantage in twofold. One, at Tulane, being involved in a lot of the governance up until this point, kind of understanding maybe the formulation and the basis for where a lot of this has come. But then being in Washington even for 6 months, sitting in the Big Ten room and understanding the discussion. So, when I did make the shift, I wasn't starting from scratch. So that's helped a lot. And I'm also walking into a place that, from a resource standpoint, from a facility standpoint, I think from a people standpoint, is really well prepared for whatever lies ahead. So it's actually maybe a great time to tackle a challenge like that.
Start specifically sport-wise with your two revenue sports and football. Coach Rule has come in and obviously has tried to install a different mindset and a different culture to get back to basics, and it seemed like that really took hold with the players a year ago. What sort of relationship have you guys developed quickly here working together in Lincoln?
Well, if you go back to when he was at Temple and I was at Tulane, and Temple was maybe a couple of years ahead of where I thought we were at Tulane, trying to get the program off its back, and just watched with great admiration what he did and knew he built it with toughness. The thing I remember at Temple is the teams that Matt played never won the following week because they were so beat up. And so having that mentality, and I got to know him personally a little bit over the years. So when Trev hired him a year ago, I called Trev and I said, I think that's a brilliant hire. You put that guy in what I consider to be a gold mine. Those two things are going to really produce results. And so just being with him a little bit, he's coaches so much set the culture in the department, head football coaches in particular. And he's engaged with every sport. He traveled to the NCAA basketball tournament to watch the men play. The coaches in meetings, I've already seen them just kind of turn their head and look to him like he's E.F. Hutton to see what he's thinking and what he's saying. And so he cares about the entire department, not just about the football program. And so when you have that kind of a cultural leader in the football program, let alone his ability to win and to coach at places have been much less resourced than Nebraska is. I think the trajectory is great with Matt at the helm.
I think culture is such a good word for your program and your school. Look at the basketball program, and Fred has ties to the state, and then he comes back and does such an amazing job this past year that he's Big Ten Coach of the Year. I tell everyone who asks, what's Fred Hoiberg like? I said, if you didn't know, you would have no idea that he's one of the greatest athletes you've ever been around because he's so humble. How much does he kind of represent and reflect what the state and the university are really all about?
Well, in some ways, I call him Captain America. He is what you would want your coaches to be. And really, I think he personifies a lot of what people don't see in the department is finding ways to put other people in a position to succeed, not really needing to stand up and say, I'm in a position to succeed, but yet knowing that he will succeed if he puts others in a position to succeed. That's the kind of guy you want as a coach. He's a hard worker. I've known him since high school. There's lots of stories about officiating his games in high school. So, to get reacclimated with him and be around him, because I knew him win and watched him win, and to get to know him as a person versus those skills I saw all the way back in high school, it's been a good experience for me.
Troy, I know right now for all sitting athletic directors, NIL, the ongoing litigation, what the result will eventually be, everything's something of an unknown. So how do we best prepare the athletic departments, the student athletes, and make sure that your university and your programs are making the most of whatever is decided is legal and fair within the system that we're playing in?
Well, first and foremost, you move ahead by looking out the front windshield, not by looking in the rearview mirror. And so regardless of what happens, whether you like it or not, whether it's what you believe in or not, you have to embrace it, embrace the future or die. And so the challenge right now for all of us is, okay, here's what's coming. let's figure out how we take advantage of it. I've compared it with our coaches to a time at Tulane when we went into COVID. And everybody was going home. I said, we're going to come back from this thing and we're going to pass people because we're going to run through it. People are going to come out of this stumbling, wobbling, not knowing what to do. But we're going to chart out a plan right now to come out of this and come out of it running. And I think we made up a lot of ground on people that maybe were ahead of us competitively. So looking at this the same way, bringing the coaches in and talking to them about what do they need, how do they see it affecting their sport. You got to rely on the people that are operating, doing it day to day. But embracing and looking for what lies around the corner and then saying, let's go get it. Too many people, I've been in this is 17 years as an AD for me. A lot of people who've been around it this long like to reminisce about the past and yearn for, it was so good when. I think the great challenge of this job is figuring out, it's hard to climb the totem pole. But this is an opportunity for people to climb the totem pole is if you'll take advantage of what lies ahead and what those changes are. One of the things Nebraska's, and I've known this, grown up in Iowa way back when from Boyd Epley, Nebraska's reputation has been providing something from a student standpoint that maybe nobody else did. From the first strength program to just the way there's care and treatment for the athletes and their futures too. Every athlete, even the walk-ons, have been paid Alston money at Nebraska. So just little things that they've always looked out for their athletes and given them maybe more than anybody else could. I think that's our same goal here. How do we make sure the athletes benefit the most? Because we've got great coaches, we have great facilities, but if we don't have the athletes, the facilities and the coaches don't matter. So when you put all three of those things together, great things can happen.